Sensitive material. This image may offend or disturb a service member of pro-Russian troops. Sits next to a body of a serviceman killed during fighting in the city of Mariupol, Ukraine, March 31, 2022. Reuters. Chingiz Khandarov. Wrecks of Russian armored personnel carriers, APC, and military vehicles on the front line near Kyiv, Ukraine, March 29. Reuters. Gleb Garanich. A soldier takes a photograph of his comrade as he poses beside a destroyed Russian tank and armored vehicles, in Bucha, Kyiv region, Ukraine, April 2. Reuters. Zora Ben Semra. A Ukrainian serviceman walks near the remains of a Russian Mi-8 helicopter that crashed near the village of Havronchkina in Kyiv region, Ukraine, April 27. Reuters. Mykola Timchenko. Sensitive material. This image may offend or disturb. The body of a killed Russian soldier lays on the ground in front of a destroyed Russian BTR-82 armored personal carrier, in the village of Novobasin, in Chernihiv region, Ukraine, April 1. Reuters. Serhiy Nuznenko. A charred Russian tank is seen on the front line in the Kyiv region, Ukraine, March 20. Ukrainian ground forces via Reuters. Destroyed Russian military vehicles are seen on a street in the settlement of Borodyanka, in the Kyiv region, Ukraine, March 3. Reuters. Maxim Levin. People pose for a picture in front of the debris of Russian military machinery destroyed in the village of Rusanov, Kyiv region, Ukraine, April 25. Reuters. Vladislav Muzhienko. Ukrainian soldiers walk next to destroyed Russian tanks and armored vehicles in Bucha, in Kyiv region, Ukraine, April 6. Reuters. Alkis Konstantinidis. A Ukrainian service member inspects remains of a destroyed Russian T-72 tank in the recently liberated village of Lukyanivka, in Kyiv region, Ukraine, March 27. Reuters. Serhiy Nuznenko. A view shows a stuck Russian tank in the village of Novobasin, in Chernihiv region, Ukraine, April 1. Reuters. Serhiy Nuznenko. A Ukrainian serviceman stands near the wreck of a Russian tank on the front line in the Kyiv region, Ukraine, March 28. Reuters. Gleb Garanich. Ukrainian servicemen walk by a damaged vehicle, at the site of a fighting with Russian troops in Kyiv, Ukraine, February 26. Reuters. Valentin Ogirenko. Sensitive material. This image may offend or disturb. Ukrainian service members walk near the body of a Russian soldier on the front line near Kyiv, Ukraine, March 30. Reuters. Gleb Garanich. A wreck of a Russian armored personnel carrier, APC, on the front line in the Kyiv region, Ukraine, March 28. Reuters. Gleb Garanich. A destroyed Russian armored fighting vehicle in the village of Lukyanivka, in Kyiv region, Ukraine, March 27. Reuters. Serhiy Nuznenko. Destroyed Russian tanks are seen in the Sumy region, Ukraine, March 7. Irina Rybakova. Ukrainian ground forces via Reuters. A satellite image shows a burned and partially submerged Russian Alligator-class landing ship and smoke rising nearby, in Berdyansk, Ukraine, March 25. Copyright sign 2022 Maxar Technologies via Reuters. Destroyed Russian army vehicles are seen in the forest in Yehidny, Chernihiv region, Ukraine, April 27. Reuters. Zora Ben Semra. A destroyed Russian T-72 tank is seen in the village of Dmitrivka in Kyiv region, Ukraine, April 1. Reuters. Alexander Klimenko. Ukrainian service members stand next to a destroyed Russian military vehicle in the town of Trostianets, in Sumy region, Ukraine, March 27. Press service of the Ukrainian ground forces via Reuters. Sensitive material. This image may offend or disturb. Destroyed Russian military vehicles are seen on a street in the settlement of Borodyanka, in the Kiev region, Ukraine, March 3. Reuters. Maxim Levin. Sensitive material. This image may offend or disturb. The body of a killed Russian soldier lies on the ground next to a destroyed Russian T-72 tank in the village of Dmitrivka in Kiev region, Ukraine, April 1. Reuters. Alexander Klimenko. A view shows destroyed Russian Army multiple rocket launchers with the letter Z painted on their sides in Kharkiv, February 25. Reuters. Maxim Levin. A police officer films a damaged Russian artillery tank in Trostianets, Sumy region, Ukraine, April 15. Reuters. Zara Ben Semra. Scavengers search for useful metal parts in a destroyed Russian tank outside Kyiv, April 20, 2022. Reuters. Jorge Silva. The wrecks of Russian armored personnel carriers in the North Kyiv region, Ukraine, March 28. Reuters. Gleb Garanich. A charred Russian tank in the Sumy region, Ukraine, March 7. Irina Rybakova. Ukrainian ground forces. A destroyed Russian anti-aircraft missile system, marked with the Z symbol, is seen in the village of Huzarivka, in Ukraine's Kharkiv region, April 14. Reuters. Alkis Konstantinidis. A man jumps from a destroyed Russian T-72 tank in the village of Yehedny, Ukraine, April 20. Reuters. Vladislav Muzhienko. A view shows destroyed Russian Army all-terrain infantry mobility vehicles Tiger on a road in Kharkiv, Ukraine, February 28. Reuters. Vitaly Nitii. The remains of a Russian fighter aircraft at a residential area in Chernihiv, Ukraine, March 5. State Emergency Service of Ukraine via Reuters. A Ukrainian serviceman stands near the wreck of a Russian armored personnel carrier on the front line in the Kiev region, Ukraine, March 28. Reuters. Gleb Garanich. A burning Russian tank is seen in the Sumy region, Ukraine, March 7. Irina Rybakova. Ukrainian ground forces. A Ukrainian service member stands next to destroyed Russian military vehicles in the village of Dmitrivka in Kiev region, Ukraine, April 1. Reuters. Alexander Klimenko. An armored vehicle with a Z marking is attacked in Mariupol, Ukraine, March 16. AZOV via Reuters. An interior view shows a destroyed Russian Army all-terrain infantry mobility vehicle Tiger on a road in Kharkiv, Ukraine, February 28. Reuters. Vitaly Nitii. Russian military vehicles with the letter Z painted on them are seen in the north of the Kharkiv region, Ukraine, March 2. Irina Rybakova. Press service of the Ukrainian ground forces. Ukrainian servicemen inspect a damaged vehicle at the site of fighting with Russian troops in Kyiv, Ukraine, February 26. Reuters. Valentin Ogirenko. The wreck of a Russian tank is seen in the village of Lukyanivka outside Kyiv, Ukraine, March 27. Reuters. Marko Urika. A view shows a destroyed Russian Army multiple rocket launcher with the letter Z painted on its side in Kharkiv, Ukraine, February 25. Reuters. Maxim Levin. Sensitive material. This image may offend or disturb. Bodies of Russian soldiers lie near burned military vehicles in Bucha, Kiev region, Ukraine, April 3. Reuters. Gleb The remains of a Russian fighter aircraft at a residential area in Chernihiv, Ukraine, March 5. State Emergency Service of Ukraine via Reuters. A view of an explosion after what are said to be Russian Buk missile system vehicles on a road are struck by a drone near Malin, Zhytomyr region, Ukraine, February 27, via Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Valery Zaluzhny. A charred Russian tank and captured tanks are seen in the Sumy region, Ukraine, March 7. Irina Rybakova, Ukrainian Ground Forces via Reuters. A view shows the wreckage, which Ukrainian military officials said is the remains of a Russian Air Force assault aircraft in a field outside the town of Volnovakha in the Donetsk region, Ukraine, March 4. Press service of the Joint Forces operation via Reuters. A destroyed armored vehicle is seen on a street in the settlement of Borodyanka in the Kiev region, March 3. Reuters. Maxim Levin. A view shows destroyed Russian Army all-terrain infantry mobility vehicles Tiger on a road in Kharkiv, Ukraine, February 28. Reuters. Vitaly Nittyi. A destroyed Russian tank is seen beside a house in Dmitrievka village, west of Kiev, Ukraine, April 1. Reuters. Zora Ben-Semra. A Ukrainian soldier looks at part of a destroyed Russian military vehicle in the village of Huzarivka, in Kharkiv region, Ukraine, April 14. Reuters. Alkis Konstantinidis.